All right, everybody. We're going to get started here. We're probably going to have a few more people come into the call here as we get going, but I want to honor everybody's time and just say thanks for getting on. Everybody can hear me okay here? We are going to go through just a quick presentation here, and then Joe will have a little bit to present here afterwards. So I'm just going to get going. There's some of you guys that are on the call, so you won't be able to see the presentation, but we'll post all of this up after we are done. So with that, we'll go ahead and get going. We are going to record this call, so I'm going to let you guys know right now. And like I said, here's the agenda. There's obviously been lots of different changes that have been happening, so we're just going to give you guys an update on where we're at. And then after that, Joe's going to give us an update on what the fall competition period is going to look like, or some of the scenarios that could be happening. So first of all, I want to say this has been quite the season so far, and one of my favorite coaches is John Wooden, and he says, "Don't let what you can't do stop you from doing what you can do." And there's quite a lot of things that we can't do right now, but there definitely are things that we can do. And I just want to say thank you to all of you for your patience and understanding in this very challenging season. I think that what really keeps me going in the midst of all the challenges that we're facing is just being able to see the kids on the fields and to really give the kids an opportunity to play and to be a part of what's going on out there and have something positive for them. So I want to remind you all of a couple things as we went through before our priorities in returning to play. The first one is the health and safety of our staff, players, and families. And we all have to work together, club, coaches, parents, and players, to reduce the risk of spreading COVID-19 through all of our actions. So this is definitely a collective effort. The second piece is connection. With the lack of things that are able to be happening right now, more important than the quality of our training sessions this year is going to be the opportunity for creating an environment for our players to interact and be physically active. So we will do everything that we can, but obviously we have limitations on us and what we can do. But the connection piece is really the most important. And then within that, quality, socially responsible trainings. Really, our goal is to do things in a way that allows us to keep playing soccer. And there's a lot of constraints, but we all need to work together regardless of our opinion about what the rules are from the governor's office. Our goal is to just play. And so that's our priority, is to make it the easiest possible for us to and the safest possible for us to continue to be playing soccer with our players out there. Just to kind of review where we're at with things and where we've come from. This is U.S. Soccer's return to play 5 phases. We began in phase 1 with some individual and small group training for a short time. We were able to get into phase 2, which is where we currently are at. And there's kind of 2 phases that are covered within that, which is full team training. And that's kind of where we've been at for a little bit. Phase 2 can go into full team competitions, and that's where we are planning to head shortly as we kind of detail what that could look like. Obviously, there's a lot of unknowns about phasing and everything that's going on, and with other clubs being in different phases, there's a lot of complexities to all of these kinds of things. And really, unfortunately, this is not going to be a normal year of soccer, and so we won't have no restrictions until we're able to get into phase 3, and that is still a big question mark. Couple of reminders for everybody. First of all, please continue to be open and honest if your player or someone in your family is sick. We've had people come to us and let us know, which is really great. We've had no cases with the players. We've had a couple peripheral things that have been going on, but nothing that's been affecting the players. We've run these things through our return to play medical committee and taken the appropriate course of action with those things. But really the biggest thing is just please be open and honest. I know that sometimes the kids want to play or there's constraints, but really we need to protect that training environment so that we can not put the rest of the club at risk. Second is, obviously there's been some changes to the spectators. And so I want to say, first of all, thank you for respecting that no spectator policy during the trainings, and the mask wearing of all the players and the people going in and out. That has been a change, and I know that that's not ideal. I think for a lot of parents, that you guys were wanting to see your kids play, especially during tryouts or things, but we just really appreciate you guys respecting that policy, and there'll be a few changes as we go into competition phases that will allow for some spectators, but we do need to continue to limit that. But we'll continue to move forward with that policy. There has been a change in the governor's guidelines regarding the maximum size of how many people we can have out there. Originally, it was 100 per field, but they just clarified that recently, so it's max of 250 for the complex. There's a way that we can divide our complex and make sure that there's separate entrances and exits, as well as bathrooms and hand washing stations and all of those things. So we will be kind of further dividing the complex so that we can stay under those guidelines. But just for you guys to be aware, that's one change that's going to be coming. Big one is the face covering guidance that has been given to us. And this is directly from the governor's, the Oregon Health Authority's page on recreational sports. We now are required to have players wear a mask, face shield, or face covering when actively participating in an indoor sport or an outdoor sport when 6 feet of physical distance cannot be maintained in accordance with this guideline. We waited and kind of went to our contacts within the governor's office, and I talked with several people, and we got it back from 2 different people that yes, soccer is included in this mandate. So the only way that we can continue to be able to play soccer and have that minimal contact is if the kids are going to be able to wear a mask. So with that, there's a couple clarifying pieces that I want to make sure that everybody's understanding of, because I think this is kind of a hot topic. First of all, the players will continue to need to wear a mask while they enter and exit the complex, but they don't need to wear a mask as long as they're able to maintain that 6 feet distance. So for most of our training sessions, this means that the kids won't need to wear a mask. If we're doing, 20 to 30 minutes of scrimmaging or 1v1 or areas where there are contact, that's when the kids will need to wear a mask. But for the most part, there's a lot of opportunities to play where there's no need for a mask during those sessions, because we can continue to maintain that social distancing. We went over earlier this week this training with our coaches, and we've talked about how when players can have a mask, when they can't have a mask, and how to kind of manage those things so that we can make this easier and limit the amount of mask wearing during the training sessions. Third, we are going to provide to everybody at the club, to all the kids, the Gator style face masks. Those will be given out this next week. We just got them in yesterday. They're a lot more breathable, and they're really easy for players to bring up and down. So as we go through the training sessions, the kids can just wear them around their necks, and they can bring them up when the coaches instruct them to bring them up. They can take them down to allow them to breathe more easily. So we'll be giving those out to you guys coming up this week. Another piece is, I mean, before we went about this, we've kind of been doing a few tests to see how this would work. So we've done some playing. I've done some exercise, some intense exercise doing this. And there's definitely masks that do better for aerobic activity versus not. So the type of mask, maybe you guys will enjoy the Gator style. If you don't, that's no problem. But I'd encourage you to do some experiments with your kids to see what kind of mask makes the most sense while they're competing and having that minimal contact. Okay, this is a great picture of me with the mask. So here I am modeling the mask for you all. That's what it looks like. You can bring it up and down just like that. Okay. A big question that everybody has, and I think that there's a lot of you can find all sorts of opinions on Facebook for everything, and so there's a lot of different things that are floating out there. But we've been concerned about, is this a safe thing to do? Is it safe for kids to wear face masks while they play? And after consulting with our Return to Play medical committee, along with I actually asked several other doctors of their opinion on this. There's not a lot of research, but there's definitely some concern about CO2 levels and O2 levels decreasing. There's not a lot of there. Basically, bottom line, it is safe. There's not a lot. Wearing a mask won't increase your CO2 levels or decrease your O2 levels in a dangerous way. The danger around face masks is really about restricting the airflow. And so the kids will find it more difficult to breathe. So we've instructed our coaches and are watching the kids so that we can see when it's more difficult for them to get those breaths. But it's similar to if you're, in cold weather and you're skiing or whatever it might be, and you put a face mask on while you're doing those things. You can still get some air, but it can be more difficult. So we will implement some changes to our trainings to allow for longer pauses for players to catch their breath, as well as having some breathing breaks within the games or the scrimmages. We've started to look at doing that so that the kids can spread out, take a minute to breathe, relax, and move forward. And again, I'll just say, ultimately, it's your decision as a family whether or not you feel it's safe for your player to participate. This is the only, we don't have a choice in this. This is the only way that we're allowed to be able to continue to play. If players do not wear masks during portions of sessions where the contact may occur, we will provide alternative activities for those players to do if they don't want to wear a mask. So if they want to sit out for part of the training session, or there's other issues that you feel like they can't wear the mask, we'll provide some alternative activities for them during those parts. So just to kind of summarize this, we understand that there's a lot of opinions out there about wearing face masks, but whether or not you agree or disagree with whether we should wear them, this is the only way that the state will allow us to continue to play soccer. And I just want to say once more that we appreciate all your patience and understanding as we weigh the risks and challenges associated with COVID-19, mask wearing, everything else that we're going through right now, along with the physical, social, and emotional benefits of playing soccer. So that is what is going to happen. At this point, I'm going to turn it over to Joe to be able to give us an update on what fall league and gameplay may look like. So I believe Joe is here and can take over the presentation. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. Just want to thank everybody for being on the call today. I will see if I can share my screen here shortly and get started. Just want to thank Colin. I know that he spent countless hours and thankless hours trying to keep the ball rolling here. We are a lot further along in soccer than a lot of our neighboring clubs. So there's lots of things going on today, and that may change tomorrow. And that's kind of the name of the game right now. So as far as looking forward to a fall league or what is going to happen here coming up, I know there's lots of questions that if we're going to have a fall league or not, or what is that fall league going to look like. And as those questions come to me, I am about 80% certain that we'll have some sort of a fall league. It just depends on what that fall league is going to look like. So I'll kind of walk you guys through what some of the scenarios are. So OYSA has put out, so you can actually go onto their website. You can see the link there at the bottom, an operational plan for the Portland Timbers Thorns League. They have proposed at the time that there be a South League option and a North League option. So basically the South League option would be all the clubs located south of Wilsonville. They will be scheduling 3 weeks at a time, and these are all the counties in phase 2. And then, of course, there's the North League option, which is the Tri-County area and Clark County. These counties are still in phase 1. And as of right now, there's no decisions on these counties being released until at least August 17th. So I've been in contact with Mike Smith and Nelson through OYSA and, of course, the Timbers. And there is an opportunity maybe if the North League is open to going into phase 2 after August 17th or somewhere around that time frame that we could join that league. Otherwise, we're looking at, if we're going to play in the OYSA league, it would be the South League option. Basically all the clubs that are located south of Wilsonville. So moving forward, alternative leagues or additional league options that we have. We've also been in contact with multiple Timbers alliances that are in the South League, and we're working out alternatives just based off of what's come out from OYSA and the uncertainty of what's going on. We all want to play, so there's been a proposal for a club versus club league. So what that would look like is if we were going to play Bend on the weekend, basically our whole boys side would go up to Bend, and our whole girls side would stay in Salem, and the Bend girls side would come down and play our girls sides. So the idea there is that there would be no overnight stays. You could get games done in one day. And with your whole club being there, it gives opportunity for club passing for parents and players that are uncomfortable of traveling outside of their county, to allow for as real of gameplay as possible. It allows for easy scheduling, and it allows for us to be able to cancel games on a whim. So in case there's some sort of outbreak or something that happens, if there is an outbreak, it probably would not affect just one team at a time. There are siblings and whatnot going through the club, so it's just a cleaner slate, an easier way of canceling those games and being able to play. We're also looking at a in-house competitive club league, and when I say competitive club, it's just for the competitive players, breaking those divisions into a U12, U14 division, playing in the 7v7 or 9v9 game models. And what we're looking at is basically 2 separate 6-week leagues, where we would shuffle the players between red, black, and white teams to create balanced rosters and for balanced games, right? Of course, you would be training and playing with your normal team that you've been assigned to, or that your kid has made during practice days. But during this in-house league, of course, we're looking for balanced, meaningful games. We don't want to have games where it's going to be 14-16 nothing. We want the games to be balanced, and we want them to be competitive. Looking forward, I get a lot of questions on what's going to happen with the high school age groups. So currently, we have it planned that all the OSAA high school age teams, 06s through 02s, would stop training as of August 13th. Their first scheduled week is August 17th. From what I understand, the athletic directors have a meeting on August 5th to decide if they're going to go forward with a fall league, essentially. But as of right now, we're planning on them going forward with the fall league, the 17th being their first training day, and then I think the 23rd was announced as their first game days. So 8th graders that are caught in between. So if you're on an 06 team, but you're still in the 8th grade, you would train and potentially play with our 07 team. So we have a place for you to play. We'll take care of the kids. It's just going to really come down to how many numbers we have in those age groups and how we distribute them amongst the teams. If there is no Oregon high school league happening in the fall, the discussion is obviously pivoted, and the winter and spring competitions would play in the fall for OYSA. How that affects state presidents or founders cups, that hasn't really been determined yet, because no word has been made on what's going to happen with OSAA. Winter tournaments and showcases, they're always in flux, and I think the latest showcase, the biggest one, was Surf Cup, and California had kept pushing and kept pushing and kept pushing, and now they're back to like a hunker down order. So as these things return to normal, I think we'll have a better understanding on what showcases and what winter tournaments would be available for our players. So as far as pre-comp is concerned, we're working on having an in-house pre-comp league, working with other local clubs, trying to stay in county. It would be kind of a hybrid model based on what league that we end up playing in this club versus club league. There would be an opportunity then for some of these other clubs to bring down their pre-competitive teams as well and give our teams games. Otherwise, we are looking primarily in county to make sure that these families don't have to travel out of the district. So that's all I have for league play at this time. And definitely open to any questions that you guys have about what's going to happen in the fall. So let me go back here to my normal screen. Okay, so it looks like, do I have any questions here? Nope. Okay, that's all I got for it.
All right. Well, thank you, Joe. Thank you, everybody. This one's short and sweet. So that's all that we've got for today. And we'll look forward to seeing you guys next week. Have a good rest of your weekend.
Mm-hmm.